All right, you get a video while I'm high. I'm gonna tell you a funny story about why I am skeptical about going into an Uber. This was last year. This was shortly after my breakup with my longtime ex, and I decided I was gonna go to a bar that's in the Austin area. But I also knew the parking was gonna be a bitch. So I instead opted to get an Uber. And I was going to sit at the bar, draw, maybe have a couple drinks, and just hang out for a few hours and then get an Uber back. So I had the brilliant idea of taking an edible before going. And this wasn't like a high dose edible. It was 20, maybe 25 milligrams of THC. So it's not that potent. Also considering the fact that I have actually taken higher dosages. So, I took 25 milligrams, and by the time the Uber arrived, I was already feeling the effects of the edible. So I was feeling very relaxed, a little giggly, but, not openly. Just like if someone were to tell me something that I found to be funny, then I would just giggle, but I would giggle for longer periods of time than usual. So I get in the Uber, and we start chatting, and the driver is just kind of acting a little suspicious. Like he's giving me like danger vibes, like I'm potentially about to be kidnapped vibes. The reason why is we talked about a few things, and he would always bring up the negatives about America. Which, granted, now I obviously would not have any opposition to people saying that. And either way, people are entitled to their opinions. So I don't really care, if someone doesn't like our country. It's not like they're hating me. They probably don't like, for instance, our government and what they're doing. But, it's just the fact that he kept saying these negative things over and over made me realize, okay, he's going a little hard against the country when we're just trying to have like friendly conversation. So something's up. And then a couple times multiple times, he would just laugh for no reason. It was very off-putting. And then on a couple of occasions, like 2 or 3 occasions at least, because I didn't actually finish the Uber, but I'll get to that. He kept doing the cross symbol like this, and then doing like the kissing motion. And I thought that was fucking weird. Like, you don't do that unless you're about to do something very fucking risky. That's what was going through my head. So, like, alarm bells are going off. My adrenaline's spiking a bit. Because granted, I also didn't have any means of protection on me, like a knife. So, I was basically, in some regard, defenseless. Granted, I was still strong. Still around the same body weight. And my strength was actually a little bit less than what it is now. But still, I figured I could hold my own if I really needed to. But yeah, I started freaking out, and like before even getting there, like at the halfway point, we had another passenger. It was a ride and share. So I decided I would just make something up and get out of the Uber, which I did. And I ended up calling another Uber to pick me up. And I went to the bar and finished the night out. I only had like 1 drink, but I was so freaked out that I just decided to take an Uber back anyway. But at that point, I just decided I'm not getting an Uber anymore. But granted, I did have a car. It's just, I didn't want to drive down there. But after that experience, I'm fine driving wherever. Like, if I really need to get an Uber, then I will. Like, if I am drinking, yeah, Uber. But, yeah, so that was the story of why I don't really take Ubers anymore. And why I just drive wherever I need to go. So, yeah. Hopefully you found that amusing, as I have. And I will talk to you guys later.